Hi guys, welcome to NASpedia. I'm Sam, the host for the topic today, and we are going to talk about the detail thing in the control panel because we just finished the QBR Pro month. So I believe that you all have got something new here. So today we're going back to the system configuration, and we also finished something like system privilege and network file service and applications. And now we're going to go more deeper. We are talking about the system. And then here's one icon called snapshot and storage, which is a very important thing because you have to get everything figured out in the storage and snapshot so that you can install a lot of different kinds of apps and you can start to upload your file, your data, everything into your NAS. So I'll say that to get to know the storage structure is a very important thing because it decides that how you will enjoy the experience of using QNAP NAS. So let's go to the slides first. And the first topic, I will show you the UI introduction. So let's go to the computer. Well, basically, this will be the the user interface when you open your storage and snapshots. Where you can find it, just open your control panel, and here will be the storage and snapshots. You can right-click and create shortcut, or you can click here, the main menu, and here will also be the storage snapshots icon. You just click and you can drag the icon onto your desktop, and then you can just use it as a shortcut. Of course, you can remove it. Okay, so we will have several parts here. The first one is overview for your storage and your snapshots. And the second part is your storage part for disk and JBOD, storage and snapshots, cache acceleration, and external storage. Then we will go to snapshot backup, where you can do the replica to your snapshot, or you can send your snapshots into another snapshot vault into a remote NAS. And here's the iSCSI. We can use the iSCSI connection to have another storage or remote disk, or we can import or export another LAN. Okay, so today we will be focusing on the storage part. So I will go through the storage, disks, storage, and external storage. Okay, and at the right hand side, what do we have? We have a SSD over provisioning. That is a brand new part for the QTS version 4.3.5. Now you can already download it if you have turned on that. If you have checked the sentence every time you log into your NAS, like I am willing to join the beta version, blah 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 of QNAP, and you can you can upgrade your version into the latest one. And here will be QTR, but we will talk about this in next video. And here is the VJBOD, which is one of our exclusive function that we know JBOD, just a bunch of disks. But the V also means like virtual, so which means we can take other NAS's empty space and then back into the host NAS as a external expansion storage space. Right here, we can see the welcome page. It will show you like what you can do with our snapshot and a storage and snapshot icon, and where you can create a snapshot and how you can duplicate your snapshot into another snapshot vault. And right here is the help desk, help center. Well, I have to say that help center is a very useful part. Whenever you see something that you don't really understand the meaning, we can go to the help center and check for each of the titles and topics to see the detail to each of the words that you might not really understand. How can they help you? Okay, so here is all about the UI introduction. Let's go back to the slides. I will move to the next page. Here will be the VJBOD. Okay, let's talk about the VJBOD first. Well, basically, what is a VJBOD? I have an example like this one is our 1685, and here is another bracket type 2480U. Well, imagine that if you have run out all of the 24 disk storage right here, but in this NAS, you install 12 of the 3.5 hard disk, but you only use 8 of the hard disk, you will still have 4 left as, like empty. And what can we do? What we can do is to use the RJ45 or Internet through our iSCSI, and then we can take 4 of the storage space through Internet cable and make it into this, which means that you will have like 28 of your hard disk storage space. So that is iSCSI. Of course, you can use other ways such as our expansion unit through USB or Thunderbolt. Just plugging into the this device, and you will immediately have more of the storage space you need. Okay, so here is a virtual JBOD overview. Well, the overview will show you how many virtual JBOD that you already connected into your host NAS. Like this one, the 1685, I have already connected 2 of the JBOD. And 2 of the JBODs are all from the remote NAS, this address. The name will be same A73. And the storage pool, one is from storage pool 1 and the other is from 2. And the configuration is using a RAID 5 with 3 disks in RAID group 1, RAID group 2, and the long name and the connection type TCP or other thing. And we can detach all. And once you do that, you can manually unplug the connection between the NAS. Okay, so this will be the VJBOD here. And also we go here to talk about how do we create a VJBOD. And we go to disk and VJBOD. Here is a VJBOD tab. We can check overview. Also, we can create a virtual JBOD, which is to create a VJBOD. Right here, we just need to, here, this is the structure, the remote NAS, the empty space through iSCSI LAN, go to the network, into a virtual disk, and then bound right here be the storage pool number 2 for the host NAS. Okay, how can we create the VJBOD? What we need to do is to type in the address and then the password. Okay, then we test. If it's done, if it's okay, it will show you success. If it's not okay, it will show you failed. So when it's success, oh, sorry. We go next. Then you can choose in what kind, here's another thing you need to choose. Here's the NAS interface, which is a very important thing. You need to make sure that what kind of internet adapter you want to get the data, transmit the data information from your host NAS and your remote NAS. This will not be a default. If you have 2 of your adapter, it will only choose the adapter 1. Like this one, also choose the adapter 1 as default, but since we are in a LAN internet environment, so basically the adapter 2 will be the only one that is useful. So remember to choose the specific adapter you need, or you will fail to create your virtual JBOD. You can create a new iSCSI LAN under select NAS, which means to create a JBOD right there, and you can choose which storage pool you need to create a JBOD, or you can choose an existing iSCSI LAN like here. Okay, so today I will just choose an existing one and use, if you want to use the chat authentication or not, you can also show the data digest or the header digest. Sorry, I don't really understand how to pronounce that. Okay. Maybe I should try to, because I remember that I have set another, yeah, should be. Before I create that JBOD, that space, I already type in the authentication chat Okay, so if the other host NAS want to use the JBOD function, you need to type in the chat authentication. And when you have finished everything, you just check. And if everything's okay, now it's doing the connection. You hear that? My 1865 are telling me that it's now being detected. And this is when and where we can choose to recover the existing data or do nothing or create new static volume or create a new storage pool. So you can choose to do whatever you want here and just check on the information right here. Okay. So I will just do nothing right now. And I will have a virtual JBOD as a new one. So I have 3 virtual JBOD because I did nothing. So here shows free. Okay, so this is where we can check on the virtual JBOD. And basically the recover is also for the virtual JBOD. Well, once we unplug the, recover is for physical expansion unit, so we will talk about that later. Then we go to our the PowerPoint. Okay, then we go to the next topic, the global settings. Where is the global settings? Is here, right here, the wheel. Global settings. We have 3 parts: storage and disk health and the snapshots. But today we will be focusing on the storage and the disk health. Here, you can configure the settings to ensure the optimal RAID performance and health. So since it's RAID performance and health, so you can only configure the disk pool, the volume, only with RAID. So like this one, I have, okay, I'll show you. Basically, I have a lot of different kinds of storage pool and disk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6, 6, 6, 7. Okay, 6, at least 6. But in the storage pool, I can only choose 2. Why? Because storage pool 1 is RAID 1. Storage pool 3 is RAID 5. They are both RAID. So only RAID can be set in here. So we can choose to set the priority for a service first or resync first or the default. Well, the service first will give you lower speed to do the read and write because it will separate most of the percentage to do the rest of the thing. So if you are a home user or you are a user that does not need a big percentage of the efficient to the hardware to do the hard disk read and write thing, you can choose service first. But if you are an enterprise that you always having a lot of data file upload and downloading, I would suggest you to use the resync first. If you think it's alright, just choose default media. Okay. And the RAID scrubbing schedule, you can choose to scrub your RAID or not. What can RAID scrubbing do? RAID scrubbing allows you to scan the sectors of RAID that are failed, and then it will automatically attempt to repair that. So it will do the auto detection to see if the sector in your RAID is failed. And just like what we do in Windows system, we will check our hard disk to see if there's anything failed, and then it will auto clean that. So this is the RAID scrubbing means. And you can do it like weekly, daily, or monthly, and you can set up the specific time or date that you want to do the RAID scrubbing. And we can auto reclaim the SSD trim schedule. What can we do? Well, basically, the schedule will, like the SSD trim helps maintain the SSD performance because it will like return the unused space. So this is a thing that a SSD will have to do, because speaking of SSD, we will talk about garbage collection, we will talk about stream, and provisioning percentage, which is all very important. So if you have SSD, I would recommend you to do this and just do it at night, because you will never know how long does it take. Okay. Then we'll go to disk health. Well, you can activate the predictive smart migration, or you can turn it off. So what is smart? Smart is a self-management or whatever. Sorry. Basically, it will detect the hard disk itself to see if the hard disk is some part of the hard disk fail, and try self-monitoring analysis and reporting technology. Yeah, smart. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Basically, you turn this function on. Your hard disk will give you a notification when the system and the hard disk detect any of the hard disks are going to fail, or any problem like any sector failed, or any abnormal or temperature something that is going to be happen on your disk. It will give you an alarm. So at that moment you can try to check if there's anything you need to do, like changing your disk or something. And here is the temperature alarm for your hard disk or your solid state drives. So you can do like degree of Fahrenheit for your hard disk or your SSD. Let me check maybe for this to see if I will get any of the alarm. I'm not sure. Maybe not. Okay, I will find another way to show you. That's weird. Okay, then let's check on the TLER and ERC timer. Well, basically, the timer sets the maximum response time of each disk. So if you are trying to do something to each of the disks, and if the response time is over the default time that you set, and then we will call this connection failed. So once it's failed, it will give you a notification. Then you can try to see if that is okay for you to check the hard disk, or send the hard disk to your to the brand you bought for a official examination. See, here's the, where is it? I just see the okay, here. Disk 1 temperature over 30 degree, now it's 43. See? So it will keep sending you notification. Okay, I'll turn it off. So here's the global setting. Then let's go to the next page. What will be the next topic? It will be overview, and then we will check on overview storage. Okay, here. Right here we can see different, the circle means it's disk, and the square means it's SSD, and in different color shows you the different status to each of the disk. Like blue means now it's using the hard disk or the disk as transmission data, and the light blue, the Tiffany blue, means like cache, use the SSD as cache, and the purple means now no one is using it, but it's in here. Okay, and the green, the orange shows that warning, and red shows error. And here is for your host NAS. Also, we have other informations like this is our expansion unit, and this is the virtual JBOD. I have two virtual JBOD with data. You can click and see the information, the RAID, the firmware, and the model of the NAS and the capacity, something like that. And then the purple means I already have connection to this JBOD, but I am not using it. I don't have storage pool. I don't have disk. So on that. Okay. And let's check on the other thing. Here is where you can check the information for all your alarm and your volume, like how many volume you have, and what are the status of all the volumes, and the type, thick volume or thin or static, right? And the usage of the capacity and the storage space. Okay. With the flash icon means it's now using cache, and with this icon now means now it's using the Q tier. And let's check on the digit right here. We can choose from different of the storage pool to see the different percentage of the space acceleration, but you can see here on the storage pool tool, it shows a subscription over 100%. And let's check on the storage pool. Is a think volume. Okay, so this will only show on the think volume. So I will also show you what are the differences between the think volume, static, or the thick. And let's check on the last part, the utilization. We can choose from volumes or the storage pools, and we can check by the hour or day, week, month, year, and we can also choose different of the storage pool to see the condition and the status. And right here we can see the current threshold. If your storage data is over the threshold, it will give you an alarm, and then you can go to adjust the size of your storage pool or your volumes, and it's very easy for us. So we have several different kinds of visualized chart for you with the digit. So I think now it's very easy for each of the users to use this function. Okay, then let's go to the next slide. Sorry. We go disk and JBOD, VJBOD. Right here, you can check all the detailed information for your hard disk, no matter it's on your host NAS or your remote NAS or the virtual JBOD and expansion unit. Same thing right here, we can check from different of the color and the shape to check the disk type and the condition right here. And here we can check on the host NAS and what does it look like, and you can click on each of the disk, and here it will flash and show you the status. Of course, with different color, you will also understand what is the status to the hard disk now. And we can click on each of the device to check, like this one is, okay, here. This is our expansion unit, UX500P. And then here is the virtual JBOD, SAM873. And then in each of the different unit, you can click on the disk and see the status and the manufacturer, model, capacity, bus type, and status, blah, blah, blah. And of course, if you are using a Seagate Iron Wolf, the capacity is above 4 TB. They provide you the Iron Wolf Health Management System. You can go here to check more detailed things, and then you can check if you have the rescue plan. Okay. Okay, then let's go here. The disk info, and you can check the disk health. For disk health, we can go summary to see all the details like the temperature and I/O history, information of the smart, power on hours, and the test time for the last time, test result, and smart information. Well, basically for this information, I will recommend you to send this information to the maybe for the manufacturer or the official customer service, because I think this will be more helpful for them to check for you. And here you can do the test. You can do the rapid test or the complete test. Well, basically, I would suggest you to do the rapid test if you are not having that much time, because this is a complete test that I have set from yesterday. So it will take a lot of time. And then we can do a rapid test. It will be done like in several minutes. See, it's very fast. And while it's doing the test, I will go to some other parts. We can also go settings to see if we want to enable the temperature alarm for this drive only, or we can do in the global setting for all of the drives. So if you want to get the alarm for all drives, you can set it right here. But if you just want to get a temperature alarm for any specific disk, go here. And then you can set if you want to do the test, smart test, like rapid test or complete test. You can check and you can choose to do it weekly, daily, or monthly. Okay, it's all by your choice. and you can apply to all hard disks, no SSD included, or you can apply to all disks. So no matter it's hard disk or SSD, it will all have the same configuration for the temperature alarm, smart test schedule. Okay, now it's still doing the test. So I will just leave it right here and we go to another part. After we talk about the disk health, and then we will go action. So we can choose any of the disk and do action. We can start. Okay. Okay. We can scan the disk now. So we can scan if there's any sector that might be failed, and we can do the locate when you are having a lot of NASes and you just want to find the specific hard disk but you don't know where it is. You can use this function and the disk LEDs are blinking. You can just check by the physical blinking and you'll know where it is. And the detach, well, same thing. If you want to unplug the hard disk, the most safety way is to detach first and then you can do the manual unplug. And the RAID group. Okay. Okay, now we have finished the test. You can see no errors found. Good. Then we go back to the RAID group. You can see here I have several groups. So that is not RAID 1 or RAID 2 or RAID 3, 5, 6, 7. That is the group of the RAID that you have built. The RAID 1 is disk 1, single. RAID 3 is disk 4, single. RAID 5 is single for SSD. 6. Okay, how about this? Okay. RAID 2 is with disk 2 and 3 in RAID 1 right here. So here is where you can check the RAID that you have built. It's not showing you like how many RAID 1 I have built. Okay. And here is okay, we go to the performance test. We can do the performance test. We can do it weekly or we can do it manually, and we can check the result right here for each of the disk. It will give you the digit in chart and the detail right here, so you can check if the result is good enough for you. And for the performance test, we have sequential read and IOPS read. For the sequential IOPS read, I will give you an example. Okay, like this one, I give it a IOPS read. So basically, the IOPS read for the hard disk and the SSD, you know, the difference is like totally huge because we can check for the SSD right here. The IOPS read speed is like 83,000. But if that is for a hard disk, this will be pretty slow. So we will go back later to check on the test result. Okay, and the recover right here is to recover the expansion unit that you have set. Okay, when we use the USB connection to connect this expansion unit with our 1685 NAS, and once we unplug that, before we unplug that, we can do the safety detach. When we detach that, we can unplug that. And then when we plug the USB back to the NAS, basically it will auto detect this unit and then get it back to work. But if some condition or situation that it does not auto detect this expansion unit back, we can use the recover enclosure. Okay, and for some, each of the NAS, they will have different limitation of the quantity to the expansion unit. Like this 1685, it can support 2 of the UX500P. So when we are using 2, so there will be REXP1, REXP2. So when we dispatch one, unplug one, and there will be only one of the REXP. So here is where we can reinitialize enclosure ID. So we can change the second expansion unit, change the name into 1. It will also be shown right here. Everything will be started from 1 if you are a little bit possessed into orders. Okay, so let's check on the test. See, the hard disk, the IOPS result is like 135, but the SSD is like 100 times of that. So if you are looking for a good speed, use SSD. Right, let's go to the next part. This part will be storage. Well, basically it's in the storage and snapshot, but we are not going to the snapshots first. So we go to storage. In this part, okay, in the disk part, you can see the information to all the disks. But in here, we can see the information to all the RAID and all the storage pool and all the volume. Here I have several volume storage pool right here. We can check the status, the type thing static, if it's taking snapshot or if the snapshot being replica, and the total capacity percent used, and then here is the threshold. Okay, what can we do? We can create, we can take snapshot, and then we can manage all the storage pool and all the volumes right here. We can do two things. Like we can click on storage pool and we do the manage. For the manage here, we can remove the storage pool or we can detach the pool. Or we can expand the pool. We can expand it bigger or smaller. Also, we can upgrade the storage pool into a Q tier. How? Just if you have extra SSD right here, then we can assign it to, we can assign this into a SSD Q tier. Okay. Also, we can expand the pool to make it bigger or make it smaller. Here are several options. The first one is we can create and add a new RAID group. What is that? What does it mean? We can choose from a unused disk and create it into another RAID, and then add this into the current storage pool, into the storage pool 1. So the storage pool 1 will have 2 of the RAID groups. And after we create the RAID groups, we also need to make new volume so you can start to use it. Or you can choose another way, like we can add new disk to an existing RAID group. So imagine that if I have a, okay, if I'm using, like, what is this? I can choose a new disk and put it back to another RAID system, a RAID bundle RAID. So in this case, I will have 3 of the disks inside of this existed RAID, and then I can expand the size. But for RAID 1, it will require only 2 of the disks, so I will suggest you to use RAID 5, and then we manage that. We can add a new hard disk inside of the existed RAID 5 and then make it bigger. So that is what we can do here. And here are several actions we can set, like we can set the threshold. See, if I turn it into 30, see the threshold will be right here. So it's warning. And once I set it back to 80%, it becomes ready. Okay. And then we can configure the guaranteed snapshot space. If you have turned on the snapshot function, you will need this, but I will not demo this today. We go to the free some space. Here are several ways you can free your space. If you have a snapshot, you can add it right here, or you can run a space reclaim to release the unused space on your thin volumes, okay? Or you can convert a thick volume to a thin, so you can release the unallocated space. Or we can expand the current storage pool by adding a disk or a new RAID group, which is just right here. Okay. These are several things we can do, and these are the information that you can check for your RAID. And here you can manage your existed RAID. Like we can replace the disk one by one. When will we need that? When we need to imagine that I have 3 hard disks all in 1 TB in RAID 5, and today I want to replace 3 of the hard disk into a 2 TB RAID 5. So here is where I can use it. I can click that, and I can click on each of the disk I want, and then I change. Please remove this drive, and you remove that. You can plug another new one, and when you have done 3 of the disk, the system will help you to expand your space. Okay, and then we can add disks. Like here, I will add a disk into my RAID 5. So the disk, the RAID type will also be RAID 5, but it will maintain at 4 disks instead of 3. Or I can do the migrate. What is migrate? It will auto detect the RAID type that you are currently using, and it can give you an upgrade like RAID 5 to RAID 6. So you can add 1 or 2 of the disk, and then it can help you to upgrade, to migrate your RAID 5 into RAID disk. So when we are using a RAID 1, what would it be? Here, this is a RAID 1. From RAID 1, when we migrate that, you can only migrate it from RAID 1 into RAID 5, but you can still choose the empty or the unused disk that you are having now. Okay, and we have other parts. The configure spare disk. Here, you can also configure your spare disk, and when you apply that, you have done the configuration. And we can turn on the bitmap, or we can disable the bitmap. So what is bitmap? Here's a very important thing. Bitmap. Let me check. Okay. Let's check on the configure spare disk first. We can add or remove any of the RAID. The spare disk can be added into a RAID or be removed. And then the bitmap. Well, basically, when we are running a RAID, so when you unplug one of the disks in a RAID and you plug a new you plug a new one back, during the time that the slot is empty, if there are still data uploading, writing, or reading something, there will be a space blank to the hard disk, original hard disk, or the one that been unplugged. If you have turned on the bitmap, when you plug the hard disk back, it will automatically resync. It will automatically be resynced for the changed data file. So for nothing has been changed, it will not be resynced. So the time for you to recover the unplugged hard disk will be faster. Okay. Whew. And the RAID scrubbing, we have already checked that. And the resync priority, we also checked that. So that is all for the storage. And we can also do the volume here. See if we check on any of the volume. Maybe I choose this volume. We check on any of the volume. We can also remove the volume, or we can resize the volume, or we can also change the volume into thick into thin, from thin into thick, or from thick into thin. And you can make the size bigger or smaller compared to the original one. And here we can set the threshold always, or set the caching storage, or check the file system, or we can rename the volume alias. Like here I can rename it whatever I want. And we can format the whole volume, or we can just convert it into a thin volume. So this is the new thing from our QTS version 4.3.5. and you can easily change from thin into thick or from thick into thin. It's all made by your choice. Okay, so here's the snapshot, but we're not going to talk about this. Here is a very important thing. We can create a new storage pool of volume right here, or the file-based iSCSI and virtual JBOD. But we have already told you, talk about how to create the virtual JBOD. So I will focus on the storage pool and volume. If we want to create a storage pool, you can choose to enable Qt here or enable it later. You just choose the unused disk, and you can choose the RAID type, and the RAID type will be shown by the different quantities of the hard disk that you have chosen. You can choose to have spare disk or not, and then you can choose from your expansion unit or the virtual JBOD. You can all make them as a storage pool. Sorry. And then set the threshold, and then when you check everything's okay, you just create here, and you will have your new storage pool. And right here you can also create a new volume. So when you are creating any of the new volume, you need to make sure one thing: which one you want, static, thin, or thick. Basically, the efficient for read and write, static will be the best, and the thick, number 2, and the thin will be number 3. So you can choose to locate your volume into different kinds of pool. And let's talk about the other differences. Static volume, it does not require any storage pool. You can just choose any of the unused hard disk and make it into a volume. So that is static volume. So it cannot use snapshots. And for thick volume and thin volume, you can the thick volume, the difference between thick and thin is the subscription percentage. Okay, like we said here, this is a thick volume, and this is a thin volume. You can check the subscription is over 100%, but how? This hard disk only has like almost I think maybe 4 TB, but I can give it 5 TB, which is way over the limitation to this hard disk. So this is the special part of the thin volume. Let's go back here. If I have 3 hard disks, 2, 2, 2, and I will have 6 TB storage capacity inside of all this RAID and storage pool. So if I want to assign the volume into different, assign the storage volume to different department, they will just get what they are assigned for. But if department A are using more bigger storage capacity than department B, so we will have to go back here, or we will have to go back to each of the manage tab to do the resize the volume. That will be very complicated. So if we have this concern, we just choose the thin volume. Although there's only like 6 TB of the storage limitation, we can still provide them like 10 to 8 TB. So that is why the subscription will be over 100. So they can start to use as more as they want. So if department A are using like 80% of that, is that okay? Of course it's okay, because we did not put any limitation to any of the department. So since it's now the subscription rate is over 100, what if the 6 TB hard disk is full, but the department A is still uploading data file? It will be told, the department A will be told that the storage pool is full. You need to add a new hard disk in. So where we can do that? Of course, we can do it right here. right here, storage pool. We can manage and we can expand the pool, or we can expand the volume. So it's very easy, right? Yeah, that's all. Okay, so we have done for the storage, and what will be the next? We go back to the slides and we go to the last tab here is external storage. Well, that will be much more easier than the previous slides. The storage, external storage like USB or your external disk or your any of your DOS system, you can see the name right here, the status, the type, and the capacity and the utilization. All right here is very clear. And the most important thing is that you can erase it or just eject it. When you want to erase it, be careful because once you erase it, all the data file inside of your external devices will be gone. So if that is not your external device, just don't click on it. And eject is when you want to unplug your external storage. You just click eject and then you can manually, remove that. It's very easy and simple. Okay, so we have gone through the storage, disks, VJBOD, storage snapshots, and external storage. Of course, the VJBOD of how we can create a VJBOD and all the actions, all the managed tasks, or how can we recover that, how can we do the performance test, and all the information, everything around the storage and snapshot tabs, half of that. And next week we will start from snapshots, replica, and vote, and iSCSI. Of course, we will also talk about cache acceleration and QTS. So that is all I want to give you today. Let's go back to the live. Yeah. So this week, the content this week is much more harder than last week because QVR Pro is one of our QPKG. So I think, and if you can get to understand more for the system configuration or the storage snapshot configuration, I think it will help you to use your NAS more easily. And in the future, if you have some problem, that it's very easy for you to solve any problem that you might face. So if you like our video, please go to live.qnap.com and you can check all the videos again, or you can download the PowerPoint. And don't forget to subscribe us, and we will see you next time on NASpedia next week. Bye.